Hey there, I'm here today to share with you how to determine if you have fibromyalgia. And really and truly, it's more of a chronic pain and chronic fatigue that go and tie in together to being fibromyalgia. And a lot of it is in brain fog, and that means that you can be easily confused, you feel like out of it, and struggle to function day to day. It also can lead to the fatigue and not feeling like function. It disturbs your ability to sleep. Sometimes it'll actually make you feel like you really need to sleep a lot. And especially during the day. When people are dealing with fibromyalgia, chronic pain, and the chronic fatigue syndrome, it is best to try and sleep during the night and stay up during the day. Now, the challenge is that sometimes you actually feel like you're sleeping all the time. But the goal is to try and be awake during the day and sleep during the night. And sometimes it helps. It's hard to keep cognitive and keep your thoughts together. Involved in this is also a lot of depression and anxiety, especially when you want to get out there, you want to be involved, you want to work with your family, you want to work with your friends and your coworkers, you want to be social, and your body's saying no. In the process, you also find you may have a lot of frequent headaches, and those headaches can actually be very debilitating. You can also feel like you have pain in your jaw, or you might feel like your muscles are tightening in here. And the best way to do this is to just gently touch on those muscles and push in on them, twisting and turning your neck to try and adjust them a little bit. That can help to relieve some of that pain. Also, you can feel like maybe sick to your stomach on occasion. Your tummy just kind of feels icky. There's also the sensitivity to touch. Now, there are other health issues that can cause you to be sensitive to touch as well. They can also cause these other situations, and that is your thyroid. And there's also rheumatoid arthritis. These all have to be determined by a doctor, but when you feel this, all of these symptoms, especially the pain or the fatigue or both, it can actually definitely point to the fibromyalgia or the chronic pain and chronic fatigue syndrome. You also might find that you feel pain in your wrists. Yes, I do snap. My wrists do snap on a regular basis. It's the muscle, and it is due to the fibromyalgia. This can actually cause pain and fatigue and the inability to be able to function. In my particular case, I love to crochet, I love to knit, I love to write, and I have to limit myself because I know that if I don't, those things will be cut off. My body will just stop functioning. Also in the groin area and the pelvic floor, and that's inside. For a woman, that's just inside at the very, very base. For a man, you also have the pelvic floor. It's just very difficult to reach. You actually can place your hand in between the groin and your leg on each side and put pressure there. And it can help relieve some of the tension and the pain and help you to be able to move your legs, which is very important to be able to work through the fatigue and work through the pain, is to be able to move your limbs as much as you can, even a few times a day, just to get started. That's how I started. I had to move just a couple of times a day, like 1, 2, 3 with my hands and flexing my toes, 1, 2, 3, and that's all. And it takes a lot at the very beginning. It feels almost impossible at the very beginning, but trust me, if you build up over time, it does gradually get better. Also, you have the widespread pain in your feel, and it feels like the effects of the muscles, not to the joints, but just to the muscles, from your groin all the way down to your feet, and especially in your knees. And you might, if you twist your legs or your feet, you might hear a popping sound. That's just simply your muscles relaxing a little bit. And I found that when I do that frequently, it tends to relax over time. Now, I went to see my physical therapist today just to double check all of the points that I'm talking about. And to be honest with you, I didn't think it was important, but after discussing with her, I realized that those points for fibromyalgia, when she was touching and she was manipulating those pieces, you know, even the wrist and the neck and shoulder points, because on the back between the shoulder blades is another point. At the base, at the hips, at the pelvic area, that's another point. On the back, same area, similar to the groin area, only on the back side, is another point. And then your knees on the back, it can also be very tender. That's actually how I was found to have fibromyalgia, is because they went and touched my calf, and I felt the difference as soon as it was touched. It was like, oh wow, a little more please. And so I share this with you simply because I realize for me that discussing each point, and as she touched each point today, each pain point, it relieved that much more tension. So, as a fellow fibromyalgia sufferer, I am sharing with you, those who suffer from pain and suffer from the fatigue. This does still stand even for those with the chronic fatigue syndrome. Your family, your friends, whomever you're comfortable with, to help you to kind of get into that flexing routine and help them with like touching on you, and it'll hurt a little bit. Just, not to the point of excruciating pain, but just a little bit, and just maybe starting yourself, and then having family, friends, coworkers helping you, maybe with stretching exercise, with little movements here and there. That's how family and friends and coworkers can really get involved and help you to be able to get more functional in everyday life. This is one tip for me on how to define, okay, fibromyalgia, fatigue, or pain. It all equals the same thing. But to touch on them each individually, you can end up giving yourself what's known as a myofascial massage. Basically, just on the very tip, giving a very basic touch to your muscles, and that ends up giving you an actual basic massage. And you don't even need to press, just touch, because even touch with fibromyalgia, with those pains, with the fatigue, it can wake those muscles up and remind them that they need to function. So for now, this is my basics of how you determine, okay, where are these points and how can I help to relieve them. I'm working right now on a book that discovers these different points and how to actually fight and face that fibromyalgia, that chronic pain, and that chronic fatigue, so that you can achieve life and living a low to no pain life.